I have a philosophy that I'll share with you guys. Because I get this question a lot. Jason and I travel around, not always together, but we go do comedy in lots of different places. I do comedy on cruise ships, comedy clubs, college campuses, and church. I go to church sometimes. And church people, we got any church people here, by the way? Okay, not 100% of the room, which is cool. But church people ask me questions after shows. They'll say, seriously, church people will say, do you think God has a sense of humor? What do you think? John, do you think God has a sense of humor? He made church people. Oh, come on, there's more church people here than admitted just a second ago. Of course God has a sense of humor. Where'd we get it from? Laughter. Laughter is a gift from God. Laughter is a weapon that you use to get through the tough times, the things that beat you down, the things that give you hard. It's a gift. And that gift is manifest through all of you, through every one of you. God put something stupid in every single one of you that the rest of the world is supposed to laugh at. And when you cover up that stupidity, you are robbing people of a blessing from God. And that's a sin, Jacksonville. I say embrace it, because it's everywhere. Comedy is everywhere. Laughter is everywhere. The problem is, in our culture, we can't laugh at ourselves anymore. Everybody just gets offended, you know? Church people, don't be offended. Christian people, set the bar for the rest of the world. You know, we should show the rest of the world how to laugh, because everything that happens to us down here on the planet doesn't matter in the scope of eternity. It's all kind of a joke, you know? And you get to heaven, if you're a doctor down here on earth, there's no sickness, there's no disease in heaven. If you're a lawyer down here, you probably won't get to heaven. But there's no crime, there's no judicial system, right? Even if you're a minister. You got any ministers here? Anybody? Not a one at date night comedy? You minister? What's your name? Alina? Selena. Well, think about it, Selena. With Moses and the patriarchs, all the apostles, and Jesus up there, do you think they're ever going to ask you to preach? Sit down, Isaiah. Selena wants to share. Like there's going to be stand-up comedy, I'm sure. So we need to just lighten up, you know, and notice the funny things that we say. Christian people, we say funny things all the time, and we're not paying attention to it. That's the problem. We miss it. We get offended because we're not paying attention. We say stuff that's hilarious. We say stuff like, we're just here to introduce people to Jesus. We just want to introduce people to Jesus. Jesus already knows everybody. I know how many hairs you have on your head, but I'm not good with names. I heard a preacher say, God is moving here. God is moving here. I thought, wow, this must be a nice neighborhood. He lives in heaven. He's moving here? Sensational. Fun. Of course, God has a sense of humor. Look at the way he made us. Look at the way he made you as individuals, you know? He could have done anything. He could have made people any way he wanted to, and he did this. Look at your spouse. You see what I mean? Could have done anything. We are fantastically funny creatures without even trying. It's built into us. We do things like sneeze. Sneezes are incredible. They fall into 3 categories. There's people like me, and you always know when I'm about to sneeze because there's a big crescendo performance that precedes it. I'm like, and then it's gone. It just disappears. I feel a little ripped off. And I got a friend of mine that there's no warning when he sneezes. You're in the middle of a conversation. And my sister Bonnie, when she sneezes, she goes, and it's usually girls that do this. When she sneezes, there's a big performance. She goes, that cannot be good for you, ladies. You can't have ah without chew. That has to go somewhere. It's going to wind up on your thighs. That's not cellulite. That's unreleased chew. Let that go. You ever done this at church? Maybe on Sunday morning, you don't have time for breakfast. You race out the door. You settle down in your seat. About the time the minister gets up to preach, it's dead quiet in the room. You're sitting there. Yeah. I think that's the Holy Spirit moving. You ever done this any place where you have to be quiet? At church? Maybe during a test at school? You ever choke on your own spit? Pray for me. You ever sneeze? We were talking about sneezing. You ever sneeze when you're driving and you have to keep your eyes open? You're like in heavy traffic. You ever done that? The person sitting next to you, this is what they see. Yeah, yeah. That's automatic. You don't have to work at it. Farts are funny. I know some of you in the room are, no, they're not. And with all due respect to you, you're wrong. You are dead wrong. They're not only funny, they're proof that God has a sense of humor. They are divinely funny. They are supernatural funny. It is the mind of God that thought up that universal punchline. It's brilliant. It requires no setup. You don't have to speak the language. And no matter how many times you've heard it before, you still laugh. I picture God up in heaven after he made man. He's pretty proud of himself, right? Brings the angels over. Come here, look at this. I made this. It's man. Now, the way I designed his digestive system to work, gas builds up. Instead of having it float out through his pores like I did with the plants, check this out. That is hysterical. What's that smell? I know, I thought that up too. That's so deaf people can appreciate them. Jesus went around with 12 fishermen, ladies and gentlemen. You think they were sitting around campfires? Oh, excuse me. No. James and John were called the sons of thunder. It's in the Bible. Yeah. Problem is we just miss it. We're so busy being offended. We're so busy being angry that we miss all of the laughter that God sprinkles around us. I was on the internet a couple weeks ago. I found this town online. The name of the town is spelled Flippin. I would move there because everything is funny at that point. Hey, I'm John, and I'm from Flippin, Arkansas. Family and I are at the Flippin Church of Christ every Sunday morning. I graduated from Flippin High School. There's my Flippin diploma on the wall. Go Birds. I don't know what they're called. I have no idea. I hope it's birds. That's a missed opportunity if it's not. The reason I bring it up is it's a real place. You can go to their website, their flippin' website. You will discover that they have no idea that they're hilarious. They don't know. Their website is very serious about their Board of Education, their Chamber of Commerce. There's a picture of a squad car on the website. It says on the side of the car, flippin' police. How do you miss that? How do they keep a straight face in an emergency? Somebody call the flipping cops! Don't miss it. Just embrace the stupidity. It's all around us. You ever been doing this? You ever done this? Driving down the road, you ever passed a semi-truck, lean towards the window and going, that's fairly stupid. You ever had a semi-truck pass you and go, it's your life. A couple of weeks ago, I woke up in the middle of the night because I heard the sound in my house. And you know how you hear a sound, you're not sure the source of that sound, it's a little unnerving. It's like 2:30 in the morning, and I hear a whistling coming from somewhere in the house. So I nudge my wife to ask her to go look for it. She was sleeping because she's selfish, and so I had to go myself. So I'm trying to zero in on this, just using auditory cues. And when I get close, it sounds like it's moving. So I'm chasing it around in the dark for like 10 minutes, and then I finally realize it's this nostril. It's just everywhere. Just open your eyes. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. True story. Today, I was flying out of Indianapolis, and I stopped at a coffee place to get coffee. There was a couple in front of me, and they ordered a bagel. He ordered a bagel. She had a banana muffin. And the little barista guy behind the counter said, "Do you want those? Can I just put those in the same bag?" And the husband said, "No, 2 bags would be better." I don't know what kind of problems you have in your marriage, but if your pastries can't share a bag, it's a good thing you're here. Well, then, this is a true story. So he gives them their coffee, and he puts the 2 bags up on the countertop, and he says, I think the barista says, "I think the bagel's in that bag, but I'm not sure." He says, "You can just open it up and check." Like, would anybody not think to do that, walking away from the counter? It's like, he didn't tell us which bagel the bag. How are we going to know where the muffin is? Let's go back and ask him. It's real people, real life. Does God have a sense of humor? Come on. He invented marriage. The whole idea is preposterous. Marriage is a hysterical idea at face value. God said, I'm going to take 2 different people, a man and a woman, entirely different creatures with different sensibilities, different emotions, different ways and processes, and I'm going to make them one. He started with man first. He made man. Then he took a rib from that man and made woman. And clearly that was the rib that we used to use to read minds. right? She can, we can't. There's a separation of power. It's God ordained. We each have a function, a different function, but we each have a function. That's what makes it whole. And that's what makes makes the marriage work, is the fact that we're different. I've got friends who are going through divorce. They've been divorced, ripped their family apart. We were just two different people, John. Problem was we were just two entirely different people. Yeah, that's kind of the point, isn't it? If you were exactly the same, one of you would be unnecessary. And guys, it would be you. Two entirely different people. Yeah, marriage is hard. Of course it's hard. You know, God, it goes all the way back to Genesis. You know, God was making things. He made the earth and it was good. He made the sky, it was good. He made the ocean, it was good. Everything was good. And then he made man and he went, oh, that's not good. This is not, I can't leave him down there all by himself. He'll cover the whole planet in socks and beer cans. I got to make man a helper. He can't do this by himself. I got to make him a helper. So he did. God made man a helper. I don't know why he thought giving her a mind of her own would be helpful. But that's his wacky sense of humor. Embrace that for what it is. Marriage is hard. It is hard. Of course it's hard. If it was easy, you wouldn't have to take a vow to keep doing it until one of you died. But learn to enjoy the ride and embrace the differences. That's what gives it color. That's what makes it so interesting. Yes, it's frustrating, but look at it with the right perspective. This is a unique human being that has been placed into your life. Are they frustrating? Yes, they are, but have the right perspective. You know, when you order bagels or whatever it is that you do, understand it's a beautiful, hysterical person. You know, my wife and I are two entirely different people. My wife, she can strike up a conversation. Communication is like her thing. It's like she talks. And me, no, I don't want to. But she can strike up a conversation with anyone, anywhere. You know what I'm talking about? On any subject. We're out to eat a couple of weeks ago. And this couple walks by our table. We have never seen them before in our lives. And my wife goes, oh, I love that jacket. That's Neiman Marcus, isn't it? It is Neiman Marcus. How'd you know? I saw it in the catalog. Where'd you get it? We got in New York. What'd you go to New York for? My sister and husband live in New York. They live in New York. Do they have kids? Yes, they do. Do you have pictures? The phone will ring at our house. Phone rings. Lori scoops it up. Hello? Mm-hmm. Yep. Hey, it's no problem. I understand, sweetie. Sure. Hey, you want to get together next week and have lunch? Okay. I'll call you. All right. I love you too. Bye-bye. Who's that? Wrong number. There's only been one male that I have known in my 50 years on the planet who could sort of keep up with the woman in his life, and that was my great-grandfather, Great-Grandpa Frank. Now, Great-Grandpa Frank and my great-grandmother Mamie were married for 70 years. 70 years together with the same person. Yeah, so by the time, you know, that rolled around, that 70th anniversary, they knew each other. He knew her pretty well, you know, and she was finishing his sentences, and she was starting his sentences, and he figured out what her breathing cadence was so he could get a word in edgewise. It was like a little performance. Like she would be lecturing us, but the boys, she'd say stuff like, you boys, don't put your finger in your nose. Don't put your finger in your nose. And he'd be behind her and say, if you're not supposed to put your finger in your nose, why does it fit? So that's the goal. The goal is to go 70 or 80 years together and work out your own little Burns and Allen routine. That's the goal of marriage. And there's so many opportunities because the differences are everywhere. You know, my wife, we've been married for 30 years. That's all. And I thought that after 30 years, I would know stuff. You know, I thought I would have some information, and I don't know anything. I'm worse off than I was after the first year. Because now there's expectations. My wife, after 30 years, she still asks me questions. She still asks me questions. Questions that are impossible questions that I don't know the answers to. Because they are questions that no man on earth has ever known the answers to. Deep, probing, philosophical, impossible questions like, what are you thinking? I'm a guy. I'm thinking nothing. Zero, zilch, zip, nothing. But women don't believe that. You women don't believe that because with you women, that never happens. You cannot think nothing. That is an impossible state of mind for you. When your minds are blank, there's still billions of calculations flying through it, angles being considered, thoughts being processed, organized, colors being coordinated, school lunches being packed. She's like a 4 gigahertz, 256 terabyte file serving computer. I'm like the little solar calculator that comes free with cigarettes. I still spend time with other men, right? Me and the guys go out, we have coffee, we talk. Never once have I ever said, hey, Al, what you thinking? Because I don't care. Has this ever happened to any of you guys? You guys? Saturday morning, I'm minding my own business on my way out to mow the yard or something, and she'll stop me. Are you gonna wear that outside? I'm just gonna mow. What's the big deal? Look at your shirt. Look at your pants. Look at those socks. I don't want the neighbors to see you looking like that. Sunday, I come out the same door on the way to church. She stops me again for an appraisal of her outfit. Okay, sweetheart, how do I look? Why are you asking me? I'm not qualified to dress myself. There's a lot of things that we men are supposed to know how to do, just automatically or organically. You know, things that we don't know how to do them. You know, we're supposed to be handy. Men are supposed to be handy. Know how to fix all the electronics, all this stuff around our house, John. It's broken. All of our stuff is it's all busted. So fix it. I know one electronic repair maneuver. DVD player doesn't work. Dishwasher's broken. I'm certain the first semester of medical school, all they do is teach male doctors not to walk into a room and say, how do you feel, Mr. Smith? You still sick? She wants to borrow things from me that I never have. Things like tissue, clean. I need a tissue. John, do you have a tissue? I need a tissue. I need a tissue. I need a tissue. Do you have a tissue? I need a tissue. Men don't carry Kleenex. To a guy, carrying Kleenex and wearing long sleeves is redundant. If men carry Kleenex, this would never been invented. I can't take my own temperature when I don't feel well. I was trying to read that glass thermometer when I'm sick. It's like looking into a crystal ball. I handed it to her and she said, this is the baby thermometer. So I've started doing my own my own sick diagnosis, because we live in an age now, the internet. You can go to the internet if I don't feel well. A few months ago, I had some scratchy throat, wasn't feeling well, so I went to WebMD online. It's amazing. You type in your symptoms, it'll tell you exactly what's wrong with you. Turns out I had a cyst on my ovaries. So, just embrace it. Embrace the differences. That's it. I don't get super deep. Recognize that there's things that are wrong with you, and there's certainly things that are wrong with your spouse, and just enjoy that. Enjoy the fact that neither one of you are perfect. I don't know where you're at. Some of you maybe have great marriages, whatever that means. And some of you. It's a church term, we have a great marriage. I don't know exactly what that means. And some of you are here and you maybe don't have a great marriage. Maybe you don't have your pastries in the same bag. But what I want to do real quick is I want to lift up the people who don't have great marriages, and I mean the people who you're maybe just barely hanging on, and it's no fun for you. Because honestly, I have a lot of respect for that. I mean, it's wonderful if you're married to your best friend and every day, rainbows and unicorns come out and jump over your bed, and that's fantastic. But if it's not rainbows and unicorns, if it's something else jumps over your bed, and maybe it's not housebroken and it jumps over. If that describes your marriage, and you're still doing it, that's valid. That's what marriage is. Marriage is wonderful when it's best friends and getting along. Marriage is even better sometimes when it's no fun at all, and you're sacrificing and you're sticking with it, because that's when selflessness comes in. I'm not having any fun, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to keep doing this because I'm giving myself to this other person. I'm giving myself to the family, even though I'm not personally enjoying it. So could we give a round of applause to the people who are here with bad marriages? Yeah, good for you. Hang in there and find the laughter, and it will get better. Because we've just got, what we have to do is, in this culture, we have to understand that we are not perfect. We've all got things to work on. And that's not just me talking to you, that's me talking to me. I've got lots of things I need to work on. I've been working on my vocabulary, because I don't feel like I know words for things. So I thought the best way to learn words would be to read stuff, because there's a lot of words in literature. So I started reading classic literature, some of the classic, English literature and American literature. Treasure Island was my first book. I was 5 pages into Treasure Island, right? And I'm going, okay, wow, now this is really hard to understand. And it's in English. I kind of speak this language. Why is this hard? I did some research, and I discovered that Shakespeare, William Shakespeare, wrote in the 16th century, had an active vocabulary, 54,000 words. Today, me, you, all of us in the United States, we have an active vocabulary of 3,000 words. I know. That's why when we read Shakespeare, we're going, what light, wherefore, through yonder. Just put in a DVD. I don't pay that cable bill so you kids can sit there and read. It made me feel bad. I started thinking about little kids in the 16th century. All those years ago, those little kids probably had a bigger vocabulary than I have now, because they were exposed to that language, right? That was how they learned to talk, which means I don't think I'm even capable, simpleton that I am, of reading fairy tales to 16th century children. Kids' books in the 16th century would be beyond me. Can you imagine what their literature would be like, kids' books? It'd be like, in time past, though not long ago, there lived pigs in stature little and number 3, who, being of an age both entitled and inspired to seek their fortune, did set about to do thusly. When they had traveled a distance, pig numbered first spake, saying, Hearken, brethren, heed this tempestuous realm. Tarry we long from hearth and home, we shall fare, I fear, not well. And so, being collectively agreed but individually impelled, the diminutive swine set about, each to erect for himself an abode. Pig numbered first did construct his house from straw. Pig numbered second did likewise, though rather not from straw, instead from sticks. Meanwhile, unique in his imagining, pig numbered three did erect as his domicile, stalwart and garish, a structure made from brick entirely. But soon there happened along, as is frequently the scenario in classic tale of protagonist pig or red-hooded child, a wolf. Carnivorous nature in full season, he called out to the straw-ensconced swine, saying, "Pray thee, little pig, grant me entrance." But pig one recalled with sage foreboding that he is mad who trusts in the tameness of a belly-pinched wolf, and responded immediately, "Nay, it shall not be, indeed, not by wit or whiskered jowl." To this most expected response, the wolf replied immediately, "Then steel thyself, little pig. Forthwith shall I endeavor, employing means both huffing and puffing, to dismantle yon flippin' flaxen fortress." Whereupon there issued forth from the wolf an exhale of gale proportions that quickly rendered straw hovel to dregs and dross, and carried aloft piglets and shattered quarters both. Exposed now to claw and fang, piglet one made haste, wolf in pursuit, to the stick-festooned sanctum of peccary secondary. Causing pig two to cry out in dismay, "Well, this knots my knickers. The marshalling of feral wolf to my doorstep is nowhere among those endeavors amenable or congenial. 1,000 pardons, begged one. It would seem the beast's baneful breath hath purged me of home and sound judgment alike." The malevolent blast of the wolf's exhale splattered second swine shack and short his sanctimonious scolding simultaneously. "Lo and behold," squealed two, "stand we now amid wooden wreckage, tremulous and vulnerable, with nary a strategy for eschewing the canine devourer looming in deadly proximity." "Strategy," exclaimed one, "while 'tis noble the contemplation of tactical particularities, pressed as we are with time restraints forbidding detailed strategical conversation, I would urge we run." Whether by their own fleet-footed competence or the wolf's windless attitude, the bantam porkers arrived at their ultimate kindred neighbor's inexpugnable brick ingress unscathed. Upon the third pig's door with urgent hooves they pounded, calling out, "Unbar this entrance, and with haste we beseech thee." The third pig hailed from the American colonies. And possessing a vocabulary substantially less robust than his impromptu visitors, replied, "Say what?" "Seek we sanctuary," they implored on the verge of hysteria, "lest we fall forthwith to the ravenous appetency of yonder approaching carnivore." Still confounded by their importunate words, pig three did render ajar his portal, whereupon one and two spilled through and collapsed beyond his threshold, enervated. "So y'all just wanted to come in?" Could have said that. Sinister hiss of the wolf could be heard. "Pray thee, pigs, grant me entrance." The wolf said one and two. Wolf said three. What do you suppose he wants? "He seeks to gain purchase within. Indeed, he would occupy this very alcove were he but afforded the most meager of opportunity." Right. I'm just going to go ask him what he wants. "Under no circumstances circumstances squealed too, flinging self against portal. There is naught to be gained, accosting external opponents, save our own immediate demise. What did you say about my mama? House and occupants were again engulfed in a malevolent blast of wolfish wind. The foundation shook, the frame rattled, and lo, to the astonished eyes of piglets and encroaching scoundrel alike stood the third pig's lodging, undaunted. Aghast and befuddled, two queried of three, how does against such relentless and torrential onslaught this domicile endure? Pig 3 puffed out chest, tapped a hoof to the hearth, and responded, it's American made. Thanks, you guys. God bless.